Hi, welcome to this video today, which is all about a theory which, if you understand it, learn it and apply it in the Forex markets, will help you achieve trading success. Now, someone once asked me, what are the theories that really have influenced me in terms of trading the markets? Well, there's two, Dow theory and Occam's razor. And actually, when I said that to the guy, he'd heard of Dow theory, but hadn't heard of Occam's razor. So this video is just going to explain why I think Occam's razor is so good for helping you understand and trade the Forex market. So where does the theory come from? Well, it was actually devised by a 14th century Franciscan friar, William of Occam, who lived in the village of Occam in Surrey, which actually isn't too far away from me. And what he postulated, and I'll just give you a very brief summary, was that entities should not be multiplied unnecessarily when coming to solutions, okay? And he said the simplest explanation of something was always the best, and it should only be based upon logic, reason and understanding of the individual. Now, it does sound incredibly simple, but it's subtly simple. Occam's razor has influenced some of the greatest minds of all time. I'll just give you three: Albert Einstein, Sir Isaac Newton and Stephen Hawkins. Now, just to illustrate why the theory is so important in terms of Forex trading, just want to go through what I thought was a great experiment done by a guy called Dr. Bravalis on how humans think and reason. And what he did was he got two guys, and we're going to call them Smith and Jones. And he wanted to show them slides of cells of humans, and they had to guess which were healthy and which were not. They had a buzzer for healthy and a buzzer for not healthy. Now, they couldn't see each other, okay, when the experiment was done. Now, Smith actually got the right information. The slides were just presented to him, and if he guessed right, he was right. Now, in terms of Jones, Jones was given skewed information. He would only be right if he agreed with Smith. So he got totally skewed information. So in terms of the test, what happened? Well, Smith quickly worked out which were healthy and which were not. It was a fairly simple test. And of course, Jones, he couldn't work it out. He had to basically come up with more complex theories to kind of figure out which were healthy and which were not, because he's been given skewed information. Now, when they both went to talk to Bravalis, and this is the interesting bit, Smith actually gave the logic of why he picked the way he did. It was simple, it was logical, it was reasonable. And then basically Jones gave his reasoning, which was by its very nature more complicated in terms of explanation, the reason he did what he did. But what was very interesting was Smith actually felt kind of stupid. He was absolutely fascinated by Jones's more complex, explanations. So then they did the test again. So what happened? Well, this time around, Smith, who'd done very well in the first test, basically didn't do very well at all. He was basically thinking of the complex reasoning of Jones. So he completely got the test wrong. And obviously Jones didn't do very well again, because his logic and so forth was skewed by the information from the first test. So what does that prove? I'm just going to just do a quick quote, and then I'm going to go through what it proves and also how to apply Occam's razor in the markets. Even scholars of audacious spirit and fine instinct can be obstructed in the interpretation of facts by philosophical prejudices. Albert Einstein. Hi, welcome back. I think that quote from Albert Einstein neatly sums up what happened to Smith in the second experiment. He fell for a prejudice. The prejudice was that basically complex is better than simple. And I think that's what we're taught in society. We're taught to respect complex things. They make our lives easier, but they fill our lives with wonder. And we also respect intelligence, and knowledge and so forth. In the Forex markets, though, it is very, very simple. You have a chart to look at, and if you make logical, simple deductions from what you see, you can trade effectively. But of course, there's another prejudice that comes into play. It's not just complexity. We have the prejudice of our emotions that weigh on our decision making. Going back to Albert Einstein, he was obviously one of the greatest thinkers of all time. Yet when he tried his hand at investing, he was an absolute disaster. He lost a fortune, for example, in the South Sea bubble, which led him to say, "I can calculate the motions of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." I think that's a great quote. And I think, if you think about it, the chart is very simple when you look at it, but we do have that emotional prejudice that comes into play. And I'm just going to give you an example, and I'm sure every trader has felt this. Look at the chart. You know where prices are going to go from what you've observed on the chart. They do exactly that. You didn't get in. And then after the event, you say, "I knew that was going to happen." Yes, you did. But why didn't you do it? Because your emotions were there and they were basically distracting you from what was simple and obvious on the chart. Now, I want to move on to how you overcome that emotional prejudice as well, by learning from Occam's razor. And before I do, I'm just going to do another quote from a very intelligent man, one of the great thinkers of all time, Stephen Hawkins. I'll be back in just a moment. We could still imagine that there is a set of laws that determines events completely for some supernatural being. However, such models of the universe are not of much interest to us mortals. It seems better to employ the principle known as Occam's razor and cut out all the features of the theory that cannot be observed. Stephen Hawking, writing in A Brief History of Time. Hi, welcome back. And I think the most important point to take from Hawkins' quote there is obviously cut out anything in your theory that cannot be observed. Sounds logical advice, doesn't it? But to many Forex traders, they don't follow this advice at all. They want to predict what's going to happen in the future. Well, you can't observe the future, so why bother trying? Also, I think if you focus on prediction, you're focusing on what might happen, which is going to make you, reluctant to do the right thing on the chart. You won't be reacting to what is happening right now, which you need to do to win at Forex trading. So I think that's an important point, that you need to learn from Occam's razor. And we've already learned that simple is best. And I think once you've got some simple rules in place, you'll soon get rid of the complexity, prejudice, because you'll realise those simple rules work. You'll be able to understand them, have confidence in them, which will enable you to overcome the emotions in Forex trading, because you'll be able to take small losses and not be bothered about them, because you know those simple rules that you understand can lead you to success. And if you're focused on the reality of the right now, what is happening, then you can win at Forex trading. Now, in terms of Occam's razor, I think there's one quote I'm going to give you, which wasn't to do with Occam's razor when he made it, but it's very applicable to Forex trading. And it's this, and it's from William Shakespeare. And he said, "Horatio, there are more things on heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy." So what does it mean? It means, obviously, there are many things that we don't understand, many things that we cannot control. So what can we do? We focus on what we can control, and we focus on what we can do in relation to what we understand. And I think if we keep it simple, we focus on the reality. Okay, we're never ever going to be perfect. We're not supernatural beings. However, we can make money at Forex trading. That is the aim of what we are trying to do. Now, in terms of a 14th century friar, is there much we can learn from him? I think there's a huge amount. Let's face it. If Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and a ton of other great learned people actually rate his thoughts, and they're good enough for them, they're certainly good enough for us, in my view. So thank you very much for watching me as per usual. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Have a good day.